Hi everyone, it's Lisa Marie here. I'm really excited about bringing this new information that I have learned. I've been coaching now professionally for 10 years, and I am so elated to bring this new information to everybody in the world, actually. Anybody that's going through trauma and stress, there is a really good explanation that is through our biological decoding. And we have all this wonderful information now. I have the key. I have learned the secret language of the body, and I'm going to show you a graph behind me that explains what has been happening to us all of these years with our very different type of, mind shift awareness. It's going to be really freaking awesome. So I'm looking forward to talking with you. So let's get to the chart. Here is our life going across the board here. Okay. We have 100% stress here. And a doctor named Hammer out in Germany had found this out when he had a situation happen, and he actually has named this stress focus that happens in our brain, and it's called the Hammer focus. So let me go into explanation here. As we go through our life, we're awake and we're asleep, and we do our normal ebb and flow. We have some days that we're not as great, and we're in a little bit sleepless nights and things like that when we get worried about things, right? But somebody calls and says something really horrible. Our mom died. My cat was, at the vet and something happened and she passed. Or your husband, you walked in on your husband, or you found out that your, sister-in-law died and you guys are best friends. Anything that is a really super deep emotional shock, and it could be even something smaller than that. It doesn't have to be, certain types of information, like, sometimes we can handle that stress as long as we don't have any other stresses that's going on in our life. So anyway, getting back to this, back in 2010, for myself, the beginning of the year, I had a situation happen where my significant other at the time decided that he was doing an emotional affair and everything else, and I knew he was acting kind of weird in his behavior and everything. Well, that gave me a sudden emotional shock, which I found the DHS to be right here. And Dr. Hammer has remapped the brain so that we have an understanding when we have a DHS where it focuses in the brain. It looks just like a target hitting the brain. It really can tell you where illnesses will show up. So this is a sudden emotional shock, and you can have up to 3 of them in a very short period of time. You can have them over a longer period of time. Now, I was in stress from 10, 11, 12, and 13. I had a solution that came in, and I'll explain that to you here. When I was here, I was in an active state. Didn't realize I was not feeling good, or I was so stressed out that my brain was just wanting to keep me alive. So because of that, I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I was overactive. I remember being up really late, not being able to sleep and stuff, constantly being woken up to the weirdest stuff. Cold extremities. Your arms and your legs get really cold during this time. Personally, I had an inner shaking that happened to my spinal cord, that my spinal cord felt like it was shaking all the time. And that's a post-traumatic type stress, because we're not understanding what's going on, but we feel all these emotions. We have anger and rage, all of these things that are going on, and we're like, what the hell's going on here? And nobody seems to be able to help us out of that. Well, when I started understanding decoding, I started to realize, with all the spiritual coaching and the things that I had been doing with everybody, that this was like the missing key component, was this DHS, Hammer focus. So I was obsessive. I had a lot of agitated thinking. I was grumpy all the time. I felt overwhelmed, but I had to continue working with my clients, and I had to continue coaching people. It's like I was going through my own immense amount of stress, and I had to work through it. But 2013, I had a solution to the problem. I had chosen that I was going to pack up the car. I decided to go to California for a little bit to visit a girlfriend of mine there, and that's when I got sick. That's when all kinds of things happened. I was exhausted. beyond the norm. And I was going to Hawaii. I had actually had an invitation to come to Hawaii and stay at somebody's house and, heal from this whole, pretty horrific ordeal. There was all kinds of things that happened and a lot of stress. So now that I understand the hammer focus and understanding that there was an actual part of my brain that was hit, I had two places that it hit. And one was in the coronary arteries, and then some other areas that are on the hammer focus around the rectum and things like that, where I had a lot of hemorrhoid stuff, diarrhea. And this happens with a lot of people. We just don't think that we're healing an actual conflict that's occurred because it's taken 2 or 3 years. We've been in a high stress level. We didn't even know that we're being affected by that stress level that happened. We just figured that we've been maintaining and managing ourselves. Not really. We have the hammer focus in the brain, and there's all these different things from depression, bipolar, to bronchial, to being able to shift asthmas and stuff like that, because it's all in the brain. There's a hammer focus that has occurred. Sometimes they're really little, sometimes they're really big. Like if you got into a severe accident, or like military men who have witnessed their friends getting blown up, or their Humvee, on a route going somewhere, ended up getting blown up. Those create sudden emotional shocks, which creates post-traumatic stress. So as we go into this healing phase, that's when we actually get sick. That's when the recovery takes place. That's when we can't sleep. Again, we're getting some sleep, but it's a different type. We're staying up later and things like that, and then we go into the recovery deprogram. We can have dizziness, extreme headaches. We want to eat more. We have a tendency to be a lot warmer at this time, so that's when we run the fevers and all this other stuff. But it has absolutely nothing to do with what we think. If we're running a flu or having the flu season, we're in a mindset that particular situation, we caught it from somebody in the office. Actually, you guys are running some sort of a similar conflict around something. Sometimes it's a territorial thing. Sometimes it's a separation anxiety. There's a lot of factors that come into play. So as we go into this, we start to go back into normal and things like that. Now, we've been doing this on and off for years in our life, to the point where we just assumed that, when we got sick, with the flu, it wasn't ending a conflict that might have been going on with your husband or your child, and you got into a fight with your kid or something like that. So we have to look at this a little bit differently. It's actually a completely different way of thinking of how our bodies work. And that is the key. This is why it's called decoding, biological decoding. And I'm really excited to be bringing some webinars and things like that. So be looking out in your email and on Facebook for information, because I'm going to be sending out a lot of stuff on shifting post-traumatic stress, domestic violence, post-traumatic stress. Doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's understanding what the keys are to unlock that situation. Once your brain understands, it can release the energy around it, because you know that you're in the healing phase and you're not going crazy. You're not losing your sleep for a reason. You're not in night terrors for nothing. There's a reason why. So I'm really looking forward to talking with you guys soon, and I'm really super excited about this information. So look forward to talking to you guys soon. There'll be some information coming out, and so keep an eye out on your posts and things like that. Talk to you guys later. Bye.